Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. So this is a video series showing how I make one of these vintage sewing journals. So in one of the previous videos I shared how I made the cover using one of those vintage sewing pouch pattern things. I'm not sure what they're officially called, but I just picked them up from op shops. And I open it up, I cut it open it up, glue it down, stitch it with my sewing machine all around the edges, and then on the back I added a bit of fabric. So now I'm up to the stage of the papers, and in another previous video I showed you what types of papers I've used, so I'm just going over that, a little bit of a recap here. I've got some coffee dyed paper, I've got some vintage blue lined paper, I've got the pattern paper from the actual pouches. There were two types of pouches that I got. Some had the brown pattern paper, some had white pattern paper, so that was good. It gave a good variety that I could use in the journal, so I took some from each. I think I took 4 of each, so 4 brown, 4 white. Then I had some coffee dyed pocket pages, so I just folded those up at the bottom and then sewed them as well to shut the pocket up. And then I've got these kind of novelty pages, so these marbled type of pages. I just chose some of the neutral colours, and that will just break up the coffee dye pages. So I really especially like this brown, well, I don't know, this brown, maybe orangey neutral colour, kind of sandy. There's my beautiful cat Keanu wandering through. It's so cute. Yeah, so basically I just cut it to size. I don't have a paper trimmer, so I just fold it over, not in half, but I measure it and then fold it up until the edge where I want it to go, and then trim off the excess. So I like leaving a bit of a gap at the top, the side and the bottom. I know some people go right flush to the edges, which is cool too. I like that look as well. But I've always taken to just putting it on the inside because I kind of think that it's protected, like a little bit more protected if the pages are tucked in a bit with a gap around the outside edges. Not that it really matters. It's a junk journal, and we kind of like it getting a bit dog-eared and used and all that kind of thing. But yeah, that's just how I've always made it. Whoops, sorry about that. The frame got knocked. One of the cats jumped up on top of the frame, so I had to just skip ahead a little bit. Someone asked in a previous video in the comments if we got a new cat. So the family I live with, they got a cat. The cat is called Delilah, and so every now and then you might see her make an appearance on my channel. Yes, so I have just cut those ones down to size. I grab my ruler and a pacer, and I just rule where I need to cut it at the top, and then yeah, just grab my scissors, cut off the excess again. Here I'm just getting some wide washi tape. This is from Washi Wednesday. I love the wide tape. It's so useful, so handy. And I'm just putting that down the center of the inside of the cover to give it a decorative edge, and also just to reinforce it a little bit, give it a bit more structure and sturdiness. And then it's such a beautiful design with the blue, well, they're not blue birds, but the tape is blue and then the birds on top. It's really, really pretty. So now I'm just going to lay out all of my pages, and this is how I organize them and arrange them. I'm not sure if this is how other people do it. I think they do, but it just helps me to be able to see them all and give me a lay of the land, so I know what I'm working with, and this just helps me to know which pages go next to each other so that you're not having a clash, or you're not putting too many of one type at the start and not enough at the end, and just having a nice even mix, if that makes sense. So I kind of categorize all the papers, so all the pattern papers go together, all the blank pages go together, all of the novelty pages go together, all the interactive pages go together, like the pocket pages, so the sewn pocket pages, the glassine bags. There's a brown paper bag that I folded in half and trimmed off halfway, so that gives a top loading pocket. And then I've got also a grungy coffee dyed envelope. So you just fold that in half, trim off the top flap, and that gives you also another top loading pocket. And then I can start arranging. So it's just a matter of alternating all the different types of papers. So so far I've got like a marble page, and then I think it was a pattern paper. I like putting the pattern paper near the front because it's a sewing journal, so I want to have something to do with the theme right at the front. And then I kind of alternate between a blank page and a pattern, like a something that has a design on it, because then you're not having two pattern pages next to each other, which means you can't write on those two pages. Having said that, many journalists make journals where patterns are next to patterns, and they look fabulous. They look wonderful, and every now and then I think, oh, I should do that. I should have the patterns go next to each other because it looks so cool. But I never do, or I rarely do, because in my mind I like having writing space everywhere you turn, having somewhere that you can write. So if the left hand side page is a pattern page, then I like the right hand side to be blank, or vice versa. Occasionally I will do two patterns next to each other, but it's a little bit of a barrier for me to be able to do that I've got to get over, because I always prioritize the writing space. This is really pretty tissue paper. It came from, like floristry paper, or paper that they wrap up your gifts when you go to a shop and you buy, like, I don't know, something fragile, they'll wrap it up in paper. I always ask for things to be gift wrapped now if they have that option. Like, would you like it wrapped? I'm like, yes, because then I can use the paper for junk journals. And they were so kind at this place, because I asked if I could just have another one just without wrapping anything, and she said yeah, and she folded it up for me. And same with like bags. If people say, would you like a bag with that, like a paper bag, and it has their logo or something on it, I always say yes please, but I try to say don't tape it down, because I want to use the bag in my journaling. And if I'm feeling brave, I'll ask them, oh, can I have another bag? And I might tell them, yeah, I make journals out of them. And sometimes people are like, oh yeah, here, have 5, or have a few more. So that's kind of fun. So now I am it's a bit of back and forth, because I tend to put in the big pages first, to make sure that they're spread out evenly throughout the journal, and then I'll go back in and add the smaller pages just so that they're interspersed throughout the journal, not all in one area. So that's why I keep flicking back and forth throughout the journal, so I can just see, where would this suit? And so as I have the last pieces of papers on my desk, I'm looking at them and flipping through the journal, thinking about, okay, where do I want to put that? And I'm trying to, like right now I'm looking, which page do I need to put here? I start off with the big pages first, and then I go through and add the smaller pages to break everything up. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky. Sometimes I go back and forth many times. Other times I can just go through and it all falls into place like first time round. I don't think it's ever fell into place the first time round. Maybe I have to do at least a second pass through, but I think I've done journals where it's pretty much come together that first time, and then just the second pass through I might change like one page or something, or I'll have a spot where I'm like, I don't know where to put this page, and I'll flip through it again, and it's just easy. It's like right there. And often what happens then is I will end up putting 2 pattern pages together, or that's when I break up the structure of the journal. So I usually alternate like blank pattern, or big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small. So by the end, that's where I can break up the pattern, and I can go big, small, big, small, big, small, big. Anyway, I think way too much about this. I know like lots of people, when they make journals, they're not thinking about that. They're just like, put this here, put this here, put this here. But I'm always thinking about like alternating pages and not having this 2 of the same in the same place, and spacing them out enough, and it's kind of fun, but also my head is a bit like, yeah, got so many details in my head while I'm thinking about making this. But anyway, that's just how I do it. And I tried to talk out my process in this video so that you could kind of get an idea of what is actually going through my head. And because the inside pages, you know, they're going to stick out a bit more, I just trim those. Again, if you had a paper trimmer, you could literally just cut all of those so that they're the same width. But yeah, I kind of like it where the pages are all different widths. That adds to the junk journal look. But yeah, this is a bit of a tedious part of the process because you're like, yay, it's finished. I added all the pages and they're all arranged. We're good to go. And then you're like, oh no, one more step. We've got to cut those middle pages. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I will see you in the next video sometime when I share the next part of the process where we get to start adding our fabric and our pockets and embellishments. And if you're joining along, feel free to share a photo, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Special thank you to my patrons who are supporting me this month in November. Thank you for helping me to make my creative dreams come true and allowing me to do this for yet another month. If you would like to join and become a patron and support my channel, bringing light and love to the world through creativity, inspiration and storytelling, and also journaling, the link will be below in the description box where you get access to videos and printables. And at the $10 or higher level, you get access to every single one of my digital kits. There's also personal updates and behind the scenes looks into my life and process. If you'd like to take any of my journaling courses, all the links will be in the description box below too. And if you'd like to support my channel through a one-time donation, there's a buy me a coffee option if you just want to support my journey that way. May you journal your life because your stories matter.